You ever wake up to the sound of your own gate getting annihilated before you've even had your coffee? Yeah, that happened again, 7 a.m., and I'm shot out of bed because Lillian Chambers, our resident psycho HOA president, has decided to use her white Lexus like a battering ram. Not kidding. She just plowed through my private ranch gate for the fourth time this month, like she's got some God-given right to turn my 40 acres into her personal off-ramp. I'm talking twisted metal, streaks of white paint. She doesn't even slow down. She just guns it, peels off, and acts like she didn't just leave a crime scene in her rearview mirror. Now, I know what you're thinking. Call the cops, right? I did. Sheriff said it's a civil matter. The county? They want nothing to do with Lillian or her HOA friends. Everyone's scared of crossing the almighty homeowners association, like she's some mob boss in pearls. But what they don't know, what nobody around here knew, is I wasn't just some guy she could bully into submission. I had a plan brewing, and believe me, Lillian was about to find out exactly what happens when you poke the wrong bear. Let me back up a sec. Name's Garrett Stone. 3 years ago, I left 20 years of military contracting behind. Figured I'd finally earn some peace and quiet. Bought this ranch for the privacy, the boundaries, literally and figuratively. After years living out of a duffel in every war zone you can name, having a fence you can actually lock starts to mean something. Guess I was naive to think a little wire and wood would keep trouble out for good. So I step outside, coffee in hand, and take a look at what's left of my gate. Main posts bent sideways like a pretzel, the cattle guards littered with chunks of Lexus, and tire tracks cut a perfect line straight through the mud. She's been testing my defenses. Paint scratches here, warped hinges there, escalating like she's on some kind of HOA battle drill. This wasn't some lost grandma who made a wrong turn. Lillian was making a point. My boundaries, my property, none of it mattered. And she wanted me to see it. See, I spent 2 decades reading attack patterns for a living. Lillian's little games? Textbook intimidation. She'd hit from the east, high speed always. Each time, pushing a little harder, getting bolder, never any consequences. Everyone in town just let it slide, because the HOA has their fingers in every pie. Need a permit? Hope you like bending the knee. So, no one dared stand up to her. But she'd overplayed her hand this time. She didn't know it, but she just handed me her entire playbook. Standing there in the morning fog, I started running through my options. This wasn't about a busted gate anymore. It was about control. About showing her that some boundaries actually bite back. I needed something that looked harmless, but would be legal, effective, and completely invisible, at least until she triggered it herself. The trick I learned ages ago isn't to outmuscle someone like Lillian. It's to let them set their own trap and then sit back and watch. 3 days later, I'm out by the back pasture, fixing fence posts, when I hear it, the unmistakable growl of a Lexus engine. Only this time, she's brought reinforcements. I see 2 more SUVs pull up, HOA board members, no doubt, dressed in golf shirts, sunglasses, all attitude. They form a little convoy and come barreling down my road, and before I know it, Lillian's smashing through what's left of my gate at full throttle. Her friends actually pause, probably wondering if they've signed up for the right HOA. But Lillian? She just keeps driving, hair perfect, sunglasses on, treating my place like it's a drive-thru. They pull up in front of my house like they own it, and out comes the parade. The first guy, heavy-set, 60-ish, oozing that I'm in charge energy, announces himself as the HOA's legal officer. The silver-haired lady with him looks like she's never smiled in her life. Lillian steps out, folder in hand, and starts waving her arms around like she's about to sell my house to someone else. So I walk up nice and calm. Morning. You're trespassing. You just destroyed my gate. I'm going to need you to leave. I say it flat, like I'm reading from a manual. Lillian, all smug, flashes that Cheshire Cat grin and says, "We're just conducting a survey of this easement." Like that justifies the demolition derby. The legal guy starts rattling off some municipal code nonsense. He's got a folder, too. Like that makes it gospel. I ask to see the paperwork. Tell him I'll be verifying everything with the county. The silver-haired woman scolds me for not being cooperative, as if I'm the problem here. You ever feel like you're living in a bad sitcom? That's what it was, a full HOA roadshow on my own land, lecturing me about community harmony while they're standing in tire tracks from their own little invasion. I lay it out. Send me your paperwork, pay for the gate, or I'll file claims and reports until the cows come home. Lillian's mask slips just for a second. She gets this edge to her voice and basically says, I have no idea who I'm dealing with, that the HOA has ways of dealing with people like me. And you know what? For a moment, I saw exactly what made her tick. She truly believed she was untouchable. No rules, no consequences, just power. But she'd just given me everything I needed. I'd seen her people, her paperwork, her legal script. I started planning, not just for the next round, but for how to end this once and for all. A week later, she sends a different team, official-looking folks in matching polos, with clipboards and cameras. They creep along my fence line, acting like they're running some federal investigation. The lead guy talks like a robot about community impact and environmental assessments. The woman with the tablet tries the whole, I'm just here to help routine, showing me digital maps and talking about 30 years of historical access. Yeah, right? I demand their documentation, tell them to leave. The photographer gets snippy, says they're just documenting existing conditions. It's all theater, meant to make me feel like the walls are closing in. But all it really did was confirm just how far Lillian was willing to go, how many resources she'd throw at one stubborn property owner. So I let them do their song and dance, watched them drive off, and started building my own case. By then, I had enough evidence, photos, video, statement from neighbors, to sink her little empire if I needed to. Then came Sunday, the day everything changed. I'm in my kitchen when I hear an engine revving so hard it rattles the windows. I sprint outside, and there she is, Lillian, ramming my brand-new reinforced gate like she's in a demolition derby. Concrete, steel would all smash to pieces. And she just stands there, smiling, snapping photos for her little HOA scrapbook. The contempt was dripping off every word. I'll be sure to file a proper incident report, she says, like she's doing me a favor. That was the last straw. I pointed to the security cameras. You just committed felony vandalism, Lillian. This one's going to court. She laughs, tells me I'm the criminal, and waves her HOA folder like it's a badge. That was her fatal mistake. She'd finally gone too far, and she'd done it in front of half the neighborhood. That night, I got to work. If Lillian was going to keep coming at me, she was going to walk right into her own trap. I built what looked like a perfectly ordinary gate. Nice woodwork, deep concrete posts, the works. But beneath that, I welded 2 steel rails camouflaged, narrowing just enough that a car speeding through, especially one as wide as Lillian's Lexus, and hugging the right side like she always did, would get funneled, guided, and finally stuck. No injury, no damage to anyone cautious. Just the world's most satisfying gotcha for one arrogant HOA president. Did it work? Sunday morning, 9:45, I hear the Lexus, same as always. She comes flying down the road, straight at my gate, neighbors walking their dogs and all. I sip my coffee and watch. Lillian's wheels hit the rails, slides right in, smooth, confident, like she's beaten me again. Then physics takes over. Her undercarriage locks against the rails, wheels spin, engine screams, and that shiny white Lexus isn't going anywhere. The neighbors stop and stare. Phones come out. Lillian, red-faced and fuming, rolls down her window and starts screaming about entrapment. I point to the no trespassing signs. You're trespassing, you're vandalizing, and you've got half the street watching. Smile for the camera, Lillian. By the time the sheriff shows up, I've got security footage, neighbor videos, and a crowd of witnesses. Lillian tries the same song and dance. I'm the HOA president. This is a community easement. But the deputy checks the county records, checks my paperwork, and then hits her with a trespassing citation, vandalism, reckless driving. The tow truck hauls her Lexus out, scraping, dinged, humiliated, and very much on my property, not hers. A week later, Lillian's out as HOA president, unanimous vote. Neighbors thank me for standing up. The insurance pays out so fast, I almost feel bad. Almost. Property values go up. Everyone's a little friendlier. And a new board makes it clear, no more cowboy politics, no more Lillian rules. Funny how the threat vanishes the minute you stand your ground. Last I heard, she packed up and moved, too embarrassed to show her face after the news ran the story. HOA reformed its dispute policies. I took down the trap, built a new gate, and went back to enjoying the kind of peace I'd come out here for in the first place. Even had a few neighbors ask for advice. Guess word got around. So what did I learn? Boundaries matter. Sometimes you've got to let the bully walk right into their own mess. Let them prove, in front of everybody, exactly who they are. No need for shouting matches or dirty tricks. Just quiet, steady preparation, and a little faith that justice still works when you give it the right nudge. Now, let me ask you, where do you draw your line? Have you ever had to stand up for yourself against someone who thought the rules didn't apply to them? Drop your stories down below. I'd love to hear how you'd handle an HOA dictator on your doorstep. And if you think real justice means fighting back smart, not just fighting back hard, go ahead and subscribe for more. Let's see whose story gets the next round at the ranch.